Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Rolie Marks, with today's top stories. Israel's intelligence agency, the Mossad, has warned the United States of a plot by Iran to carry out attacks on U.S. interests in the Gulf region. In response to this, Washington announced that they will be sending an aircraft carrier with bomber units as well as other units to the region to send a very, very clear message to the Iranians and stop any attempt by Iran to attack U.S. interests. Iran remain the largest state sponsor of terrorism and are responsible for the financing of groups in the Middle East like Hezbollah, like Hamas, and other terror entities within the Gaza Strip that are responsible for the firing of rockets and mortars onto Israeli sovereign territory. This weekend, some 700 rockets and mortars were fired from Iran, or from Gaza rather, into Israel, killing 4 Israeli citizens and wounding over 60, as well as taking the lives of a young Palestinian mother who was pregnant. And in other news, and related to the flare-up over the weekend, an unnamed senior Palestinian official has said that Israel has agreed to lift certain restrictions and bans on Palestinian imports. This is following the ceasefire agreement that took hold at about 4:30 yesterday morning. Senior Israeli officials that include the Prime Minister's office as well as the Kogat unit, the unit that is responsible for the administration of Gaza and the territories, have declined to comment. Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday that operations in the Gaza Strip will continue and that this will be a lengthy process that requires patience. And also, in a break from usual military tactics, Prime Minister Netanyahu announced that Israel has gone back to the policy of targeted assassination, and this was evident in the assassination of a senior terrorist who was also a financial courier of monies and finances from Iran to the Strip. Now, we are just a couple of hours away from the start of Yom Hazikaron, which is Israel's Memorial Day for fallen soldiers and police and victims of terror. At 8 p.m. tonight, a siren will sound throughout the whole of Israel, and Israelis will pause to remember our 23,741 soldiers, police, security officials that have fallen since the since the birth of the modern state of Israel in 1948. We will also bow our heads in solemn memorial for some 3,150 victims of terror. This is a very, very solemn day in Israel. It is marked with a lot of ceremonies around the country. Many people tomorrow morning will go to cemeteries across the country to remember and pay tribute to their dead. Another siren will sound at about 11 o'clock and again will bring the country to a mournful standstill. And I'd like to take a moment just to pay tribute to those who have fallen over the last 71 years. There are those whose names that we know, like Roy Klein, whose infamous story of jumping on a grenade to absorb the blast and save the lives of the men in his unit during the Second Lebanon War. There are the stories of those who died serving the country, like Hadar Golden and Oron Shaul, whose remains still have not been returned to Israel, who fell during Operation Cast Lead. And there are countless others. Legends like Yoni Netanyahu, who was felled trying to rescue hostages during Israel's very, very daring Entebbe raid. And there are countless others, many whose names we will never know, or stories we will never know, because the their protection of Israel in valiant secrecy is one of the reasons that we all can live and enjoy the freedoms that we have. And we also remember the victims of terror, countless victims of terror, people like Ari Fuld, who gave chase to his murderer after he attacked him and unfortunately succumbed to his wounds. Young women like Ori Ansbacher, who was brutally attacked and murdered as she sat reading a book in a picturesque park in Jerusalem simply because she was Jewish or Israeli. People like Drew's policeman who was coming off duty when he heard of a possible attack in a synagogue nearby and rushed to help and unfortunately lost his life. We bow our heads and we pay tribute and also fill our hearts with a sense of gratitude for all those who have sacrificed their lives so that we can enjoy our freedoms. May the memories of the 23,741 fallen and the 3,150 victims of terror forever be blessed. And you can read more about Yom Hazikaron on our website online at www.layoftheland.online. That's www.layoftheland.online. And also check us out on Facebook at Lottel Site. Now, yesterday's brief was rather long. It was a recap of the situation over the weekend, as well as an interview with a special guest, Harris Green, about the situation or pending resolution to possibly divest from Israel by the University of Cape Town. Because of the length, it's only available on Facebook, so don't forget to check us out there. And also just simply click on the subscribe button below to receive your daily edition of the Israel Brief. I'm Rolie Marks, and today's brief is dedicated to the memory of all we have lost.